AskReddit Bytes Horns 1330. Would you watch a show where a billionaire CEO has to go an entire month on their lowest paid employee's salary, without access to any other resources than that of the employee? What do you think would happen? I doubt a month is enough to really feel the effect. And a camera team changes everything. I won't trust doing business with a random nobody, but a guy in suit with a whole production team following him? That's a different story. That's why reality shows are intrinsically just shows. It would be better if they had to live with their lowest salaried employee for a month or two, in their house, dinner with the family, travel to and from work together, same lunch, kids with homework, the works. Building that relation would do much more for this problem than just experiencing below your normal standard of living before returning to it. You're more likely to feel empathy for a family you know, and much less likely to forget them. Anything else would just be another show about wealthy people having a fun adventure to talk about at cocktail parties. This would be a good show. I'd watch this. It would be incredibly self-serving and boring. They would never truly experience what it is like to be in the precarious position of minimum wage employee living hand to mouth, and the novelty is just salt in the wound. It would be more interesting to see the reverse. Why not both? Or trading places, as we called it back in the 80s. 3 months minimum and I'd watch it. Thanks for the gold. With problem scenarios thrown in. Broken down car. Tube strike. Dodgy boiler. Sick child. The wheels would come off pretty quickly. I love reality shows, so I'd watch it depending on who produces it. If it's too fake, with too many emotional moments, advertising and people shouting, I'm out. X Factor singer, I can't sing but my granny died an hour ago and told me to follow my dream. Hosts, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Isn't this almost the same as Secret Millionaire? Do you guys have that in the US? Yeah, a slightly different premise though, as ARP's suggestion is for the salary to be what the person pays their employees, to encourage some awareness of their livelihood, I guess, rather than the minimum wage of the country. Sure. They would never do that though, because then they would have to admit that they don't pay a living wage. Nah, all they have to do is stick it out for a month and then they can say from personal experience that it isn't that bad. Of course, they never have to deal with the effects in the long term. It's kind of like when privileged college students pretend to be homeless by camping out in the quad for a night. I'd do more than a month and without any contact to rich budders either. If it's a month, I think a lot would just buy rice and beans every day and go see. It's super easy to be poor. You just need to make economical choices. I've proven myself right longer than that, and they'll really have to get used to how their lowest paid employees live. Would they learn a lesson? Maybe. Likely not. They still have a mansion to come back home to. They'll give their lowest paid people a one-time bonus, or maybe they'll drag one out in front of a camera to give them a fancy car so their own reputation gets better. And then they won't change anything else. So basically undercover boss. 1 month isn't long enough because no rent is due, etc. Indeed, 1 year more be more fitting. 1 month is nothing. They wouldn't have any trouble. Most of them are self-made and most have a large number of financial skills that 99% of people don't. They'd macro their finances and come out better off than most people. You think someone like Jeff Bezos, or Bill Gates, or Elon Musk couldn't handle it? Or what about Warren Buffett? The dude is already living a modest life. A lot of dumbasses in the comments seem to fail to realize that a lot of these billionaires were already in a super shitty position before, and pulled themselves out of it. These people run massive corporations and charities, and you dumbasses seriously think that living your life for a few months would be a challenge? That's some cringe. You should watch Undercover Billionaire on Discovery, not to be confused with Undercover Boss. Billionaire Glenn Stearns moves to Erie, PA with just $100, a truck and no contacts, and has to make a company valued at $1 million in 90 days. He also can't mention who he is to anyone. It's pretty much exactly like you are describing and insanely entertaining. No. Slumming is not living your entire life in a slum. Here is what will happen. Fake billionaires like Trump will come to this show. Real billionaires will probably not. Those who appear on this show will brag about how they are self-made and their employees could make do with even less. We will find out, like Naked and Afraid, that outside of cameras these billionaires were living in their luxury RVs, sipping martinis and having affairs. There was an episode of American Dad where they tried to live on minimum wage for a month. It was fantastic. Stan ended up being a drug addict in 3 days, right?